Jake.
Hey, Chantel.
Do you know what I hear?
Can you hear what I
fucked it up already, didn't I? Yeah, I was trying to make it funny. Sing along. I
It took me a moment to
forgot
get the reference.
words, but fa la 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 la. It's a Parading's Christmas. I guess we need to make our own.
Jing, jing, jingling, jing, jing, jingling, dingling.
No, you're kind of ripping someone else off the jingle part.
I know.
Well,
But that's how things get started. Okay, so that's next year. We have to have our own original
Christmas
musical
jingle.
Christmas intro.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Goals. Look forward to it next year.
Yeah.
That's exciting, too, to promise that we'll be here next year for Christmas, at least.
Well, this is our second Christmas podcast.
Yeah.
Well, did we? I feel like actually we might have skipped last year.
Maybe we didn't do a Christmas-themed episode, but we have been podcasting while we were, doing it last year. So
Yeah, it's been a year. It's been over a year.
yeah, it's cool. Episode 75, everyone. Welcome.
Hi.
This feels fun. It's so cool to say
75 for
that.
Christmas. Cool.
It's a big number.
It is. It's a lot of fucking talking.
Yeah.
It's a lot of planning, a lot of sitting, a lot of...
I remember on one of the episodes, just after we passed the 10th episode, mentioning how most podcasts don't make it past 10, and I felt amazing, accomplished that we did that.
Yeah.
And now I feel even cooler. Getting to 75, that's
Hell
cool.
yeah.
All right. Cheers to 100. But for this episode, we are going to go with the Christmas theme this year, but we're going to do it in a dinky way.
Can you tell me what that means?
Yeah.
Tell us what that means. Tell everybody what that means.
So I thought it'd be fun. We've been talking a bit. Well, I feel like I've definitely been talking a lot about my life since we've had the past couple episodes of me solo recording. And then we talked about my travels and stuff. So I thought to go with this theme of just worldly exploration and adventure. And getting to know us and me. We haven't done as much getting to know Chantel. So.
Well, I feel like I can't bring the same... Well, I just don't remember enough to put a fucking story together. So everything in my mind's bits and pieces. It's okay. Like that box of nuts and bolts and shit that doesn't go together. It's just my brain's a junk drawer. Oh. So the way that I can participate is when I just add in something that I remember as conversations happen.
I love it.
So.
And that's how I've gotten to know you.
I feel like you're much more interesting anyway.
No.
You've done a lot more.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's just what I've done. But anyhow, that's all a long-winded way of saying that we're going to talk about some Christmas traditions from around the world that we find either hilarious, interesting, or intriguing. And I've got my friend Corey from Australia, who also lives here in Calgary. We met in Vancouver, and I had remembered him telling me over one Christmas when we were working together about Australian Christmas, and I found it hilarious and interesting, and he agreed to come chat as well and tell us about Australian Christmas traditions. So that's what we're going to do on this episode. And I guess to start with, I think part of the inspiration is this is a tough year for both of us, or a tough time of year for both of us.
Oh?
Yeah, neither of us enjoy the crowds or all the Christmas fra-la-la-la-ing. And I feel like we both, this year in particular, we've embraced that as a reason to just sort of hermit and tuck away.
Yeah, well, we did that last year too, actually.
Yeah. And I guess it's more for me saying what I've begun to really dislike about our Christmas in Canada and I guess the United States too is how much it's just about buying shit and hurrying around from event to event. Mm-hmm. And I've been really interested in a lot more the origins of Christmas. Because I was thinking how it's only very recent that we have such excess and abundance of of both stuff and food. You know, like the things that we can go buy, the tools we have available, the food that we can just pick up. And it made me interested in like why we have this tradition of pigging out and giving each other things in the middle of like what would be the time of year that you're living off your reserves, right? Because like you would have had the harvest in the fall, and now you're just kind of living off of what you can keep alive from that time. So I'm like, why would people gather and have these big meals and give each other stuff? Yes, you have a hand up.
Yeah,
Like-
it's I think the nicest way to ask to interrupt it while you're in the middle of a thought. But I feel like we need to. I need to address a couple things before we get into it. What you're saying, because you just brought up the fact that we aren't Christmas people. But there's some things we like. There's a lot that we don't. So I wanted to. I wanted to explain that when it comes to my side. First of all, like so what do I like about Christmas? That'll be probably quicker. I love Christmas music because I like to sing. And I do like, the lights and the decorations and stuff, but not in my own home because I don't like to gather and store that shit, put it up for 30 days, take it down, fucking keep doing it every year and buy all sorts of new things. Like, I don't like any of that. But I do like it in other people's houses or like when other people do it. It's also really hard because we don't have any kids. So the magic of Christmas isn't really there. Our families are all over the place. So we do get together with your cousin's family, which is nice. So we do something with some family one day. But yeah, and then of course the crowds, the shopping, the like even when you do get a gift, like you feel like you have to give something back, which is so stupid. I prefer to find, like, if I find a gift for somebody, buy it then, give it to them now kind of thing. It's become this like just about money and less about actually giving.
Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily matter what the gift is. It's more that you have to have something at that exact moment to give back.
Yeah. I think it's nice, at least with my family, we have, we decided that we weren't going to do gifts. Now, if you wanted to, like, there's an agreement that if you just, again, found something or if you wanted to make something, that's all good. Nobody's ever going to feel bad about whatever, because we help each other a lot throughout the year too.
Yeah.
Also, my best friend had passed away December 12th. So
Just before Christmas.
Yeah, like literally that in 2011. So like it was a long time ago, but it always feels like yesterday, especially around this time. And so there's just like, it's okay. It kind of feels like Disney. I feel like I've outgrown Christmas in a funny way.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still have our ornaments. We have our personal like fake palm tree. Is that a palm tree?
Yep.
In our bedroom. And so we did put some lights on in our ornaments because our ornaments are sentimental and whatnot. It's like the only Christmas thing we do have. So I do like doing that because we go down memory lane, if you will.
Yeah. And we're going to have another opportunity to insert some more memories here too. Because I thought we would explain a few traditions from around the world and then explain the things that we have liked about Christmas. Because similarly, as much as I spent the opening of this trashing Christmas, there are things I enjoy about it. And I guess that's what also interested me in seeing what other cultures would do. Because the thing I always have enjoyed about this time of year is it felt like the only time of year that my family would want to slow down and get together and spend time with one another and like play games together. And especially for me growing up, we lived farther away from our extended family. So
Yeah,
I didn't get
us
to see a
too.
lot of my cousins and grandparents and stuff like that. So Christmas could be a time when I would get to see them. And like, both of my parents come from quite large families. So there'd be lots of aunts and uncles and cousins to see. So that part was always fun too when we did get to do
Yeah.
those.
We'll
So
talk
again,
more about that. but-
yes, we're going to throw in some things we love.
Can I
Thank
say
you for redirecting
one
us
more,
a little there.
just one more
Yes.
quick thing. So when Jake and I first got together, we had, I don't know what you call it. We had like a whirlwind romance at the beginning, of course. It's going on forever. It's a twister now. But what I'm saying is like things were bing bang boom at the beginning. And so how many months sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, so actually like it's quite a long time. So call it like 7 months. We were together and it was still obviously fresh, but we immediately did Christmas together at my parents' house on the island and invited your parents. And I just want to say that was a lot of fun. It was really cool just getting our our parents together.
Yeah.
And just doing like a couples thing, I guess. And it being very different than I think I've only ever had or only ever spent one Christmas together out of 8 years was that other person with like a family, like our parents together.
Wow.
But I guess what I'm laughing at is we were together for like 7 months, but it all happened very fast.
Yeah. That's still one of my favorite Christmases too.
Yeah.
And
we
I
played
think I love
games. Our parents got along. They're good friends.
and I think that to me is a huge part of why I love it. And still to this day, I don't think it's even that weird or quick in the timing because I felt like from the moment I met your parents, I knew that our parents would get along together famously. I'd be like, yeah, different people, but there's so much in common here. And even just a very common general outlook on life and an approach to living that I was like, there's so much that you will all have in common.
Yeah.
That I'm like, this will of course be great. I would have been surprised if it went a different way.
I wouldn't have ever suggested if I had any.
Yeah.
And
it was cool to see that play out as well. And to just see them getting along and to have all of us there and getting to kind of just break the ice together as well. Like, because you're right, it does feel like one of those first like family merging moments.
Yeah.
Like
so
we've known each other and then like you'd met my parents and I'd met your parents, but having them all together.
I had not met your parents yet.
Did you not? You met them before that, didn't you?
On maybe Zoom.
Okay.
But, video chat, but
that was the first in person?
Yes, because I came home from work to the apartment, the Langley or townhouse.
I guess, that would be then.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, you had met them on video chats.
Yeah,
so at least
but
there was that
with you,
part.
though, you hadn't met my parents yet.
Was that the first in person too?
No, because you met them in the summer, actually.
We went over there months before.
Yeah, okay. Anyways.
Hilarious. Memories.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, my mom told me later, she thought that we were like gonna announce our engagement or something because it was such a weird thing to do. Bring just us and our parents together for Christmas.
So funny.
Like, nope.
I think when you told me that was the first time I realized how quick that was.
But then when I think about it now, 7 months, that's not even that fast. That's nothing. We were living together before, like, after 3 months or something. So
I know, but it's just, and exactly, just because from my experience, from the moment from the moment we were together, it's just been like I've known you my whole life.
Oh, for sure.
I remember telling you in the car the one day.
We first talked, yes.
But I remember telling you in the car one day how I have memories from my like childhood or something, and it feels like you would have been there. And I start to tell you a story as if you had been there for it, and I'm like, oh wait, no, like
In spirit.
Yeah.
I was always in your heart. Oh, sick.
Aww.
Let's move on to Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I just wanted
This is
to
gonna
throw
be,
that in there because I thought it's interesting tidbit about us.
It is. And the show is our show.
Yeah, it's true. We can fucking say whatever the fuck we want.
Okay, so we're going to start with our first weird couple of Christmas traditions. So these are ones that maybe fly in the face of the Canadian and North American happy, big jolly guy who brings you gifts and everything's amazing kind of year. We're going to do the soft introduction by telling you the story, or the legend, I guess, of the 13 Yule Lads who roam in Iceland at the Christmas time.
Okay. So I'm actually just kind of playing off what Jake's got planned here. I can't remember things.
Yes. So,
Tell us
in Iceland, and this is according to a poem, not a poem, sorry. I didn't write it in my notes. Anyhow, yes, I did. Johannes Urkutlum, sorry if I said this name wrong. He wrote this book back in 1932 called Christmas is Coming, and he outlines this tradition that had been, I guess, an oral tradition for many years for the people of Iceland. So we're just going off of this version in case anyone wants to know where we got our information from.
Yeah, how old is that?
What, 1932?
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Shit. Okay. Sorry.
Good playing off of me. Anyhows, the Yule Lads are children of Grilla. I'm so sorry to any Icelandic people whose name if I mispronounce any of this. And she is an ogress who lives in the mountain with her lazy husband, whose name I'm not even going to try to say.
Lapaluyo.
I'm sorry to the people of Iceland again. And anyhow, the lads are sent down from the mountain before Christmas to steal from and harass the people in town.
So they're just like a bunch of mini Grinches?
Pretty much. And they all have their individual little fetish, I'm going to call it. Because they're weird things that they like to do for harassing.
About this then.
But during their pillages, the kids leave their shoes on the windowsill, and they will leave treats in the shoes of the good kids. And then they will leave a rotten potato in the shoe of the bad kids.
Hey, I hope there's some parents out there listening to this. It might be good. We have Elf on the Shelf, right? Like the American tradition now. Yeah. And you can have the Elf on the Shelf do all sorts of stuff like this too.
Yeah.
Like maybe they put on I'm making a whole new thing now. Maybe they put on a little mask of one of these Yule Lads. Yeah. We should just get Elf on the Shelf for ourselves, just to do stupid shit to each other.
Exactly.
Anyways, you guys know where I'm going with this, but keep going.
Absolutely. So anyhow,
fucking nasty though, rotten potatoes in your shoe.
Right? How gross would that be?
I guess what would be even better is if the shoes were on the ground and you had no idea.
Oh, so you just like stuff your foot into a rotten potato shoe? That'd be pretty gross. And anyhows, now we're going to go through the 13 names of the Yule Lads and their little fetishes.
Okay.
Because these are the things that the Yule, like the different pranks and ways that they harass the townsfolk in the 12 days or like 12 nights leading up to Christmas.
Okay, so do you want to do one?
So the kids get treats or potatoes, but all the while the Yule Lads are running around town playing these pranks and harassing the townsfolk in their weird ways. Yeah, we can trade off one. I'll go first here, though, with Sheepcoat Claude. And he tries to suckle the ewes in the farmer's sheep sheds.
That's cool.
The problem, though, is that his knees are also locked. So his legs are straight all the time. And he can't bend his knees to squat down to, suckle the ewes and get their milk.
That's hilarious. How the heck would he... We would have to lie down then.
I guess, but it would run away, right? Like, how do you... I don't know. He's probably got a tough life.
That's when you wrangle them, lift them, and just stand there and suck on them. That sounds really bad and nasty.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're trying to, like, you broke in here. You're like a burglar, so you're trying to be quick. It's not like,
well,
it's not like these are your
find
sheep
something else to
or
do.
ewes. Anyhow, that's
Okay.
the first Yule lad. Who's our second one here?
Gully Gawk.
Ooh.
He has a gray head and steals buckets of cow's milk while the milkmaid is not looking.
So when your milk goes a-missing.
Do they come
Gully
during
Gawk.
the day?
I think it's at night. Maybe during the day. It was a little unclear.
Because nobody is milking cow.
The book is
like
written a bit like a children's book. He just like, he doesn't really
Yeah.
describe it all.
that. All right.
But anyhow, so that's his thing. And then you have Stubby. He's short and he steals frying pans. And he also enjoys
Ew.
licking all the crusty bits that are stuck to the pan.
Well, I guess that's one way to get your pan cleaned.
Yeah.
I
I don't know. He might be a helpful one.
People with it.
Oh, wait, but he takes them.
Oh,
And
he
remember
just
too,
steals
this
it.
is like, I think something that's important to remember with some of these legends, or something I try to remember with this, is how this is like a tiny country and a remote island where like you can't just replace these things easily. So like if your frying pan goes missing, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
so anyhow, keep that in
damn.
mind as we keep listening to the rest of them.
I wish we listened to Eurovision just for a quick minute to get that Iceland accent. Because when I watched that with Will Ferrell and
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams, I could do the accent and it would just sound funnier. Spoon liquor.
Hilarious. Oh, all right. Yes, number 4.
Spoon liquor. He is tall.
Thin.
Okay, and thin, like a spoon, and he licks the food off of spoons. He's a spoon licker.
This reminds me of that video that you had shown me a long time ago.
Which one?
With the guy, I like rusty spoons.
Oh yeah, you count salad fingers.
Yeah,
I
that
like
one.
rusty spoon
Yeah.
and the nettles on my nipples. That's creepy. Awesome.
That's what I think of with spoon liquor.
That's funny.
And then, okay,
Mr. Cumberbatch.
just after
Excuse me.
that, we have pot scraper. And this is, I guess, kind of similar to Stubby,
Do they fight?
maybe. But when the kids were given the pot scrapings, he would
What?
knock on the door and the kids would rush to see if there's a guest. And then he would scurry around and steal their pot scrapings.
What's a pot scraping for a kid?
You know when you make stuff in the pot and there's like the crusty stuff that's stuck on there that sometimes can be really delicious, especially from like bacon and whatever.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Or even just, I don't know, if you made mashed potatoes or something and like there's still pieces stuck on there. You know, food that just gets left over in the pot. Yeah.
Bowl liquor. He would hide under the bed, and whenever a bowl was left to be licked by a dog or cat, he would snatch them and lick them clean himself.
So he would
So-
steal the animals' bits left over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So he would, but would the bowls be in people's bedroom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was like the monster under your bed.
So if you don't take your dishes to the sink, they're going to just get licked clean. So, well, that works.
Maybe. But keep in mind, this is a time when like food's not plentiful. You probably licked your bowl yourself.
Yeah, probably.
And then we have Door Slammer, and he is a devil of abuse. When the people are asleep, he would go around and slam the doors to keep the people awake.
I would be pissed off about that for sure.
Right? But is it that much different from today where like everyone gets really drunk and then they spill out into their driveway and argue and wake up the whole neighborhood?
That's quite specific. And does that... No, that happens here a lot, but not like... Anyways, number 8. What does that say?
An awful stupid bloke?
No, what does his name
Oh.
say? Skewer?
Skewer gobbler.
Skewer gobbler.
It means yogurt in Icelandic.
Okay, yogurt gobbler. An awful stupid bloke. He would gobble up all the yogurt until he was howling and groaning. That's just too much probiotics for you, I guess. Or you, what's the...
Lactose intolerant?
Yes.
Maybe. Or he's just super full. You know, like when you eat too much ice cream?
Oh,
You get the same
I
feel.
know. We ate 2 tubs yesterday.
Same feeling.
Never stop.
Howling and groaning. And that leads us to Sausage Swiper. He would climb the rafters and snatch the sausages that were being cured. He would often be covered in soot and smoke because he was, near the fireplace. Or maybe that's how he got in and out.
Damn. Number 10 is the window peeper. Oof. A wicked, creepy twit who would peek through windows, and whatever he saw that he wanted, he would attempt to steal. That's like a sex offender.
Right? Peeper.
Yeah. And whatever he would want, ooh, that's not good.
Yeah. I wonder if he stole kids.
Yeah.
I wonder if it got that
Who
dark.
wants kids, though?
And then
you
there's
can keep them.
And then there's Door Sniffer. He's got a huge nose and an insatiable appetite for stealing baked goods. He could smell them from far away, and he had the ability to sprint across great distances to steal these treats.
I feel like this is you.
Yeah, totally. You know, that was one of the hardest parts about living in Langley, is there was that big bread factory there.
Yeah.
And if you're ever out early in the morning, the whole town just smells like fresh bread.
Well,
and then that's all I would want to do.
That's nice, because, I mean, it could smell like other things.
Piss.
Yeah.
It is true. But it was like, yeah, just all you wanted to do is go eat bread. And if your morning was not eating bread. Anyhow, who's next?
Meat hook. He snatches any meat left out, especially smoked lamb, by using his metal hook. Although sometimes it was a little too short.
No meat for you, Mr. Hooks.
But there's meat for the sausage swiper.
Yeah, but that's because he goes down there himself. If your hook can't reach,
Yeah, lazy.
you're stuck.
Lazy.
And then the last one is the candle bagger, and he steals candles. And you have to keep in mind here, a lot of, in the old days, candles would be made out of the tallow from animal fat. So it was a very edible, it was an edible thing. You could eat the candles because it's the animal fat, so you could keep alive. So not only would it be valuable to give you light at night, but it was also a source of food.
Nice.
So that's why you would go around and wrangle all these up. And especially in a cold place like Iceland, you can keep them frozen and they're not going to like rot or, go bad, so to say. You can keep them. It could be food for a long time.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you know you can make butter candles?
Yeah. That's fat.
Yeah. It's
From
like
animals.
that now. Like those things going around where people are just like, here's a tasty butter candle you can dip everything into while it burns right in the center of your... Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's the best of both worlds. Like, you can have light and enjoy your evening together, and you can have a delicious meal. Like, we should be making more edible candles.
We should
Save
have,
the world.
We should have fondue sometime soon.
Candaloo.
All right, cool. Well, that was
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes. And anyhow, on the 12th night of the Christmas, so I guess after Christmas Eve, when you wake up Christmas morning, it meant the Yule Lads return to the mountains and they won't be seen until next year. So all of those things would stop happening. And, I found it also interesting. I saw that somewhere they said on the eastern side of the country, which has less mountains and it's more along the seaside, the legend had it that the Yule Lads came out of the ocean. So they'd be like mischievous, crazy mermans, merboys.
And do they do different things?
I think they did the same things.
But
they would do that.
I guess just because it was.
Oh, and there were
different part of the country.
two female. So there were two Yule ladies.
Gals.
Yeah. And they would steal melted fat by stuffing it up their nose or putting it in socks.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Bet that would be warm on your feet.
Yeah, remember?
That's
it,
like
the-
paraffin wax. Yeah.
That'd feel cool. I don't know about the nose, but I guess if you're going underwater, maybe it helps you. Okay. And we're going to do one more legend from around the world here, which is very relevant because we just watched a movie based off of this legend.
It's also probably the most well-known of other stories, Christmas legends, folklore, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So I hope you are knowing of the... that sounded... I hope you are knowing.
You are knowing of the legendary...
So next up is the legend of Krampus.
Austria's Krampus. So
Yes.
Krampus is from Austria.
And where does he come from? We're like... I mean, how is he related to Christmas? In our sense?
So as far as this is probably what I know more well known for me because I've listened to a lot of horror stories as well, just like podcast stories. But he's basically Santa's shadow, like the evil side of Santa. He's all like deformed, and instead of bringing kids joy, he steals them, kidnaps them.
And inflicts punishment upon them.
Yeah, I mean, only the bad ones, of course. Like, obviously, the good ones are still good, but yeah, he takes them and puts them in. Well, I've heard of a sack, but it's traditionally a bucket. You said
I don't know, basket.
basket, and anyways, he puts them in there, and they go basically down to hill.
And he's got a switch, like
A whip.
a switch or a whip, and he beats the kids with it, or maybe it's a stick. I don't know. It's something to hit them with. He's kind of goat-like, isn't it? He's got like horns, big horns on his head.
Yeah,
that sense.
he's basically got the lower half of the devil, if you want to, like his goat form of the devil, but
So
he
like
still
big
has
hooved feet.
I guess it also depends on how he's described in each different story, because I'm sure what we just watched is, besides the lower half that's always described the same, I'm sure his facial features and stuff is different in each kind of story.
And I guess I'm thinking too from the I'd watched a fun little clip of Christoph Waltz, Austrian actor who was in Inglourious Bastards, describing the modern tradition that still exists in like mountainous towns of Austria.
Yeah, tell us about
where these
that.
men dress up in big Krampus outfits. And it's usually they have some kind of elaborate, huge wooden mask that's horned and kind of demonic.
Is it like a parade that they have or anything?
Not quite, but many of them dress up this way, and they wrap themselves in like big cowbells and maybe sometimes chains. They have the basket and the whip or the bag or whatever it might be, and they're covered in like big, I think like sheepskins, or like long-haired, mountainous kind of sheep, or what are those other cows that are maybe like Scottish cows? That kind of long drapey.
Fluffy. Yeah.
Yeah, not like our curly-haired short sheep. Yeah, but that kind of long, flowy one. And so they're just very, huge and intimidating. I almost think of it like the what was that monster from the Star Wars in the ice planet that almost ate Luke?
Yeah, like the behemoth.
Yeah, this kind of.
That guy's called.
Yes.
This abominable snowman there.
Totally.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and they just. He described it as they get very drunk and then they put on these costumes and they run around town and they terrorize the children and like threaten
fucking awesome. I want to go do that.
So that's like the modern day way that is still celebrated. But yes, the legend is he's like this demonic shadow of Saint Nick, and he comes to punish the bad kids. And the punishment is like, or I liked how Christoph Waltz put it, like Austria is very like a, logical and Catholic sort of society.
Logical and Catholic. Let's talk about Krampus.
Well, I meant like exacting, and I think that was his word. Sorry, like exacting. Things are very precise and measured and like on it. Okay. But also like, you're not. There's no tolerance for mistakes, you get punished.
Interesting.
Right? Like that. I think that's what I'm trying to communicate with that.
Okay.
So of course their tradition is like terrorize the young children of town who've been terrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I found that a very interesting take on Christmas time. It's less focused on the joys and the good and more about don't be bad or Krampus will come.
And this is actually, like, I am a huge horror fan. I really am. And I feel like I just keep getting like further and further deep down into that kind of like realm. And so Christmas seems to be kind of forming into that as well. Like, I used to love Christmas movies, all that dumb shit Hallmark fucking movies and stuff, kid Christmas movies. I'm finding it very difficult to get into that now. Like, it's just gross. But anything that includes any kind of like slashing, killing, bloody Christmas, or like punishing people, whatever, like that's the kind of Christmas I like. But I will not lie, if we're talking about Christmas movies, there's still those handful of old ass movies like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa's Claus is Coming to Town, Christopher the Christmas Tree.
I haven't watched that, but yeah, that's funny. As soon as you started saying about the old movies, that's the first one that always comes to my mind is the 80s or something like that, animated or stop motion claymation Rudolph.
That's not 80s. That was older.
Yeah, probably. Maybe I had a version
like
that 50, was remade 60. Or something.
Oh yeah,
but
they did. They totally remade it. Yeah. Well, that one's also very popular.
And well, I think honestly that's the only like Christmas movie we had in our household for the longest time. Like I definitely remember that through at least like elementary school. Like that's all we had because we didn't have cable. We like never went to movies and stuff. Like we were very disconnected from pop culture in that sense.
Yeah.
For a lot of my childhood. And yeah, so that one like that always goes back to my earliest Christmas memories. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, there. You didn't. I was just thinking of like, how did we get what was your question?
It wasn't. You were talking about how much you had loved all of the murder and the mayhem and all that. And then you were going to
said something else. And now I don't really know.
Yeah.
Krampus. Anyways, so we did watch the I guess the most recent. There's so many Krampus movies out there, like really bad ones, B movies and stuff. But they did make one. What year was that?
I think it was 2015 or 16. It said.
There was a new one made with Toni Collette and Adam Scott, some other people you would recognize if you watched it, and we just watched that the other day. Right. My question for you was, had you heard of Krampus before I mentioned the movie at all?
I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay. So Krampus is new to you.
Yeah. And
you enjoyed the movie we watched?
Yeah. I thought it was brilliant. It struck a beautiful line between like trying to be a modern version of an old legend.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it at all? Or do you want to explain it?
Yeah.
A little bit of it, at least.
Adam Scott is kind of the
dad.
The guy we're following. Yeah, he's the dad of the family. And his mother is from Austria. And so she speaks German and knows all this tradition. And she has kind of like always been very, what'd you call that? Super into Christmas. I guess like from when we see her, she's into it. She's baking and stuff.
Yeah, but I think she's like, she had a history with the Krampus, so.
Yeah. And so anyhow, this is a Christmas where, was it her sister, Toni Collette, his wife? Is it her sister? I forget who's the related. Yeah, it's her sister comes over with her family, and it's kind of one of those like Christmas vacation kind of plot lines too, where like your family, but you don't really get along. You live very
like
different lifestyles.
Cousin, you don't want to see these cousins. This cousin sucks.
Yeah. So it's
They
kind of this
bully.
Christmas, this family Christmas that you're dreading a little bit because it's going to be tough company for you, but like it's family, so you have to do it, right?
Everybody's fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And then, big surprise, they bring along the one aunt that nobody likes because we feel bad that, she would have to spend Christmas alone.
Complains all the time, bitchy, but she's drunk and it's funny.
So it's one of these.
Actress is funny.
Oh yeah, it's very well casted. Can't remember everyone's names, but they play their parts beautifully. And yeah, so we follow through this horrific Christmas. But then a big storm comes through town, snowstorm, and it knocks out all the power.
Let me interject here. So Max is the son, and it actually starts with him because he is the one that kind of starts this whole process of Krampus coming. He doesn't. He's not the only one, but he kind of starts it. He writes a Christmas letter to Santa, and then he keeps getting into fights, and all these things keep happening, and then that's when the family comes in, and the family is all hating on each other. They're all bullying each other. Nobody wants to be together, and then he gets made fun of for his Santa letter, and then instead of sending it to Santa, he rips it up and throws it out the window, and that starts the snowstorm.
Right.
But I think that's just
he's struggling
the
with
cherry on top of all the other shit that the whole family is doing.
No, it's the cause of it. He's struggling with the Christmas spirit. He can't find the joy.
Yes, but the rest of his family also can't find it either.
Yeah. And anyhow, so yes, that kicks off the storm. And Grandma sees what's going on.
She's like, I've been here before, bitches. I know what's happening. We're all lost. Ah!
And anyhow, as the storm kicks in, then what is it? The daughter finds a reason to escape. Or not to escape, but she has to go see her boyfriend, check on him, make sure he's okay because she hasn't checked in. But anyhow, it's that's just the launching pad to say that kicks off then everyone has all these reasons to go outside. They encounter the Krampus. It attracts them to the house. Chaos fucking ensues after that.
Anyways, if you want details, you should watch it yourself. I had something else that I was going to throw in there. Oh, this is something maybe we should talk about outside of this. But I'm a little bit confused about the end for a certain reason. But we'll talk about that after, actually. Don't let me forget to ask you about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's move on from there. Right?
Yeah.
That's it about Krampus. I mean, the movie was great. But I think the story's awesome. I like it when people get punished. Especially kids.
That's funny. I know we kind of hopped in there with some of our own stuff and then back to Krampus, but this was a moment I had here for if there were any other things about Christmas to share.
I'll start because
or...
it'll all be super brief. Some traditions that we had, from what I can remember, when we were younger, like we did have some family that used to come over when we lived in Oyama. But, I mean, because my aunt and her family used to always go to Aspen, where is that? Somewhere nearby. I don't know where it is in Kelowna or something.
Aspen? You mean Colorado?
No. There's a place.
In
I remember
BC?
it being called Aspen.
Okay.
Aspen Grove keeps coming up to my mind, but I could be. Mom, you can tell me.
I keep thinking of Dumb and Dumber.
No, but there's a ski hill in like Kelowna or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's Osoyoos. They had a place in Osoyoos for the summer. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, so I remember them coming over. We would always do like family games, but more so I remember our traditions would be like Christmas Eve. We would get new PJs, new slippers, a new board game. We would all play the board game, and then we'd go to bed, and the oldest in the morning, it was always 7:00 in the morning, the oldest could go wake up mom and dad. So that was Tyler at the time, and then nobody could like go past the kitchen to get into the other room until everybody had, well, mostly dad, I guess at that point we weren't drinking coffee. So until Dad had his coffee and was ready to go in, because we would just have to wait.
Yeah.
Then
That's
we would
hilarious.
be like brought into the living room, and I don't know if I don't know if everybody does. Most people do this. I'm sure lots of people. But we'd have our own stuff, area. So we would have our Santa present. For example, I got a Furby one year from Santa, and then I would have my stocking next to that.
Gotcha.
And then everybody else would have their Santa gift and their stocking. So we did those things first. We'd go through all of our stockings, and then Mom would start passing out gifts, and she always had them organized.
I think we had to grab our own.
What?
Yeah, I think it was all just sort of like thrown under there.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it was just Jordy and I, right? So like,
I
we would
guess
just go through it and grab the thing that had your name on
a little bit
it.
harder when you're trying to organize 4 kids, not including Mom and Dad.
Exactly. So I think that's why, Mom and Dad was like, okay, grab the ones with your name on it. And they were usually mostly together, but like...
Well, but the way that my mom had organized it was also because she had grouped things based on, let's say, like, these are clothes, or these are underwear, or this is, like, a toy or an electronic, like...
Yeah.
She grouped it like that. And then later on...
Brilliant.
And then she also had, like, we each had our own wrapping paper.
Oh,
so
that's
you were able
smart.
to...
Yeah.
And then later on, we would just add our own gifts. And when we wanted to give our gifts out, we would just say, hey,
cool.
can we do this?
Yeah, it's the first time I'm thinking of a Christmas with, like, more than one other person to sort gifts from. Because, like, it's, like, just been my brother and I for me. So that's how all my Christmases have been.
Never,
that's wild,
until I was older and I could actually help put stuff under the tree the night before, we just sat back and Mom gave us gifts. Like, Mom handed things out.
Yeah.
She had things sorted.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, now that you bring it up, that's how we did it at my mom's extended family. Like, if we ever got together and did gift exchanges with, like, all the cousins and aunts and uncles, someone was, like, designated as Santa, and they handed everyone their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that went on for a while, and, as we got older, it was pretty much the same thing, except we all needed our coffee before, and some of us wanted to stay sleeping. Also, actually, Colton and I used to watch, you want to say something?
If someone wanted to stay sleeping, did everyone else have to wait until everyone was up? Or
no, that person had to wake up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. We would go later. We would do all of that and then go back to bed. That was as an adult, we would open up, go back to bed. But no. Also, I forgot when we were younger too. We would try to stay up, right? So Colton and I. We used to play video games and stuff. We'd have a fort or something on the floor. We used to share a room as well. But a little bit later, Colton and I would play Gauntlet Legends, which I brought up to you recently. It's a PlayStation game, like first PlayStation. So much fun. It's like an arcade game too. But for the long time there, we used to try to just stay up all night by just playing Gauntlet Legends. I'm sure there were other games that we played, but that's what I remember. And of course, we'd fall asleep at some point. And then later, eventually, we just never wanted to get up. So, but yeah.
That's fun.
If I could, I think that's. I guess I'll just keep talking about me for a second. I really also used to love it the way my mom decorated. All the garland would be in each corner of the walls and like on the ceiling trim. So cool. It was just like you were just surrounded. Well, now she's got 12, 15 fucking Christmas trees now. I have no idea. So now you really are surrounded. You really are surrounded.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and as we got older, of course, and then I was allowed to stay up and help her put things out, wrap whatever. Oh, that's the thing. My dad didn't like wrapping things, but he would buy things for Mom, but he would give it to me, and I would be the one to wrap everything for her.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So you knew like all of your mom's gifts.
Well, some of them,
Some, I guess.
but a lot of
That's
it was
funny.
like some stocking stuffers too. But yeah, some other
Mm-hmm.
gifts yeah.
That's hilarious.
What else was there? What else was there?
I love that.
Some memorable gifts. I got a Furby. I got this really cool chair. It was like a wicker chair with some. I was into jungle stuff at that point, so my room was themed jungle. So I had like leopard print on this wicker chair. It's really cool. I got a karaoke machine, American Idol karaoke machine that my mom probably regretted buying. Well, I guess Santa knew what I wanted, and Mom hated Santa for that or something. Oh, and my mare and Papa used to always send money over, and that would help us when we were. I don't know when they stopped doing this actually, but we would get like a new game console every year for a few years.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
you know, because they just can't, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, PlayStation, GameCube, like.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like every 2 years there was a new one that was worth upgrading to.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And we were very spoiled. We were very spoiled for that.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got any of those.
Yeah. And then we would eat and sleep. Sometimes we would have people over. At one point later on, like Beth, my friend Beth, and her parents would come over a couple of years, or when we weren't there, Mom and Dad would just have her parents over and started their own thing.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
The eating was always big on our Christmas. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we would have a big Christmas breakfast. That was the thing. So like my brother and I would get up early. And then of course we'd want to open gifts. And I don't remember there being any particular order or times to anything. It was kind of like we would rush in and wake Mom and Dad at whatever time.
So
they just got up.
Did you have a setup sort of like a Santa gift? Or when did you do your stockings? Everybody does it differently.
Stockings were Christmas morning.
So that was the first thing you opened. And you didn't have like so our Santa gifts also, they weren't wrapped.
Oh.
So this was cool. So
everything was wrapped.
Yeah. So, well, because it came from Santa, it was not wrapped. So it was a way to identify it. It was just, now that I think about it, I think that was a really cool way to do things. Oh, shit. Sorry. I remember I got a pink and blue, like, Disney Dream Castle thingy one year. I just remember that popping in my head. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny.
I like that idea, though. And then you do your stockings at the same time, and then...
Yeah, we usually, I don't remember if it was always, but I guess the order, we just did it later in more Christmases, was we would wake up and do our stockings, because those quickly became my favorite tradition in Christmas. Like,
why?
I don't know. I never cared much about the, like, quote, big gifts or anything else. I was like, our stockings were always stuffed with practical things.
Always, yeah.
As
Toothbrush,
well as
Kleenex.
Yeah. And as well as the most impractical things.
Candy.
It was a hilarious cornucopia of just like, hey, I really need that. And what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, and I loved the mystery of it. And I guess as we got older and like my brother and I began to develop our more distinct personalities, my mom would always grab little things here and there throughout the year that just sort of reminded her of us, or she thought, ooh, that'd be hilarious to see one of the boys pull out of their stocking. And so it was also this, I don't know, kind of a personal conversation with parents about like what they've thought about you through the year based off the things that they got you.
Didn't you get a box of condoms?
I don't know about that.
No, that was someone else.
No,
Sorry.
I don't think that was me.
Just a box, like a box.
I don't think my mom would
large
do that.
box.
I mean, maybe now at this age she would, but then definitely not.
I don't know if she would want to supply us with something like that if she wants grandchildren.
No, but I think now she could find the humor in it versus like giving this to your 17-year-old son. Like, just
But
knowing her
that's something
then, she would not have.
She's a doula or a birthing coach. I mean, that makes sense.
Maybe, I don't know, but my first instinct is like she wouldn't. Mom, if I'm wrong, tell me.
Does mom still listen to this?
But also, anyhow, it was less about the gifts in a way. Like, I don't know. A lot of the Christmas morning I remember is my mom had this tradition of she would make fresh baked cinnamon rolls.
Jeez.
Every Christmas. Like all from scratch.
That's nice.
Always had raisins in them too. Because
Ew,
we're a
that's
raisin
that's
in
fucking
family.
nasty.
We're a raisin
No,
in family.
I'll raisin out. I'm raising out.
But then I like some of my memories of her are of in the morning because she would make the glaze that goes over top of the cinnamon rolls. She would make that fresh every morning. So it would be like the cinnamon rolls were pretty much ready the night before. She'd pop those in the oven and we would start opening stuff. And then by the time we're done opening stuff, the cinnamon rolls are ready. She's making the glaze and pouring that out. And then we're like spreading the table with bacon and eggs and orange juice. And she's bringing around the cinnamon rolls and we're having a big breakfast. And then, yeah, we all kind of retire for a while. But not too long because we've got to get busy making like the large 5-course meal that's going to happen in the evening. Because something my mom and I love to start doing. I remember we would do this on Christmases when family came over when we were younger. And then I feel like there was a period where we didn't get too elaborate, but we did something special like a big turkey or a ham or something with all the accoutrement. But later, more towards high school, when I started to also really enjoy cooking, my mom and I started planning like these elaborate 5-course meals for Christmas night. And so, we'd go take a nap for a little bit, but then rendezvous in the kitchen in the middle of the afternoon because we'd have to start cracking work on whatever we were doing. And one of my favorites was we did this 5-course Italian themed Christmas dinner. And
with
we made
Italian Christmas food traditions?
Kind of, I think. I can't remember if we chose them based off of Christmas or just like different regions. Because I remember the highlight of that meal was we made these big pasta shells that were filled with like a ricotta crab shrimp kind of thing. Like it was this seafood ricotta filling in this tomatoey, basil-y, like cheesy baked dish.
God damn.
Fuck. It was so good. Like it was so good.
All right. And can you make that for me?
Wish. And I think that was one of the years too that I brought down this must have been like way after I wasn't living at home, but because I swear I brought down this panettone, which is like a traditional Italian sweetbread cake. I'm gonna call it a cake.
Okay,
People might call it different things, but it's just this very buttery, delicious, floofy, amazing cake, and they're very elaborate to make properly. And there's this place in Vancouver that makes some of the greatest because the guy's actually from Italy and moved to Vancouver and then started this bakery to do it. And I brought those down for that dinner.
Ooh.
And so I think, Anyhows, enough about my Christmas traditions for now. There's more, but we have another one from around the world to address.
Oh, fuck. How much shit
It's the last one before we chat with Corey.
Okay, hold on. I also wanted to talk about really quick about distant family.
Ooh,
you know, because we lived in Oyama in the Okanagan when most of our family was on the Lower Mainland. So that was not safe to travel, ever.
No.
We still
especially
did
in
it.
December.
We still did it a few times, but I always loved. Oh shit! That reminds me. I got all the Spice Girl Barbie dolls one year from that Christmas at my mother in Paris.
Amazing.
You're not supposed to take Barbies apart when they are specific.
But you did?
Well, at some point I did take out everybody's hair and you can't fix it.
You made weird Barbies.
Tight buns, you can't fix it. Anyways, those were really cool. But I always loved it, because again, with that thing of never seeing your family, and it was always with the carriers. Oh, okay, so,
yeah. Well, similar to us, we weren't quite as far, but still in those days, when you didn't have cell phones, cars were not as reliable in the snow as they are today. Like, even for us, because all our family was down in Seattle, which was a good 2 to 3 hour drive south of us. And I'm like, if it was snowy on the roads and icy, yeah. Again, not as dangerous or crazy as Vancouver. Not as bad as that, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were younger, it seemed like every December though it was snowy. Like, it wasn't until 2000s or something when December was suddenly warm and there might not be snow. Like, it was weird to have a December without snow. It was, like, always snowy growing up.
One year I got to spend, I think it was actually the year that my grandma died. I was 8. And my mom didn't let us come to the funeral. And I feel really bad, but I was also young that I just like wasn't quite aware about everything that was going on. Anyways, on a lighter note, around that time, I think it was that Christmas where I was allowed to go stay with Megan and her family for a couple of nights. And my Tante Jeanette got me a Tamagotchi.
Oh, yeah.
Those little Tamagotchis.
I never had one, but I remember
I wanted one so bad. I think that one was like a knockoff or something because it just died like immediately. But for the meantime, it was fun. And I got to see Megan in her Christmas concert. Oh, that's what I loved about elementary school too, is doing Christmas concerts, you know?
Really? I did not enjoy those in elementary.
Oh, well, yeah, but I was a theater kid. Like, I liked putting on a show. I liked singing. I liked acting. Anything like that scared the shit out of me. I fucking loved it. See,
I was a band kid, but not...
Yeah, but band kids are super shy. Yeah, band kids hide behind their musical instrument.
Nuh-uh. We speak through it.
Okay.
That is our voice.
You hide behind it. And then eventually you come out as beautiful musical making people.
Maybe.
Anyways.
We'll see.
Still working on it over here.
Yes. Still working on it. Bald is beautiful, they say. So maybe it's good work I'm doing.
You had a thought that you were just literally about to say that got distracted by being hidden behind your musical instrument.
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas concerts, awesome.
Oh, yeah. I disliked them as a elementary kid.
Well,
I remember there was one year I refused to go. Like, we were supposed to be doing some kind of Christmas choir concert thing as a group, and, you know, the whole school's coming out. It's like the big town event for the evening. Everyone's going to be there. You've been practicing for weeks. That's what we've been spending our hour-long band class every Tuesday and Thursday practicing.
You have I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do this. This is dumb. I'm not going. I'm not going. And I refused. I got in trouble.
Ask Corey about what is this? So I'm going to find this song. I'm pretty sure it's Australian because it talks about boomers. It's a song. Dun, 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 Snow White boomers hopping along in the right sun. Oh, anyways.
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
But yeah.
No, I'll find it before you ask him. But here's I remember when Joseph was in, because he was just 2 grades older than me. And so we would see his class do a thing. And they did one like about little kangaroos. They would call boomers. The song is like,
okay.
Dun, 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 Snow White boomers, blah, 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 in the scorching sun. And they were just like hop along. But the cool thing, like these, so in Oyama, small town of 1,000 people, we have the Oyama Community Hall. And in the community hall, we have a stage. And it's all super nostalgic for me because everything fucking happened at the Oyama Community Hall.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, we had our all of our Christmas music shows. Like we even did a Beatles concert and this and that, whatever. Beach Boys. Oh my god. So you have like the whole hall. You have the stage area to the left is like I guess a cafeteria window kind of thing for when people would have weddings there or like dances and stuff. And then there's stairs that go up. Wow, this is just unlocking like a lot of memories for me. Like you go up there, and I actually used to have my play school up there. And then also that's where you would prepare for your show before you go down and go on stage. And then also there was another room later as I got older. It was like, what was that called? It was a youth thing, youth get together thing. So just a lot happened at the Oyama Community Hall. A lot happened at the general store too, but we're talking about the hall right now. And then later on, it became like the jelly bean dances for like the younger kids. And, oh my God. My mom used to make, I'm just going off now. Yeah. My mom used to make CDs for our school dances when we were still in elementary school.
Epic.
So cool. I bet if I, you know what, back then, that wasn't cool. But now I could be like, my mother used to make the music for our school dances, and that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Anyways,
I wish my mom
so that
could
was
have
just
done
like, wait, yeah, hallelujah.
I mean, she just couldn't even figure it out on the computer.
That's funny. Like, anyways,
I would have had to do it for her.
I just have a lot of memories in Oyama.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I find it funny because I have the same kind of experience, but it was like instead of at the community hall, everything happened at the schools. In the small town. When we lived in Virginia, it was a little different. But like, yeah, our schools were like the gathering place. We didn't have it was such a small, rural, disconnected area that we didn't have like a community hall or a other thing. Just everyone came to the school. So, do you remember driving by the hall? Yeah.
Okay, so it was
near
just
the
this
store, wasn't
box. It? Yeah, everything's on Oyama Road there.
Yeah.
So you have the OG, the Oyama General Store. Then you have the hall down the street with the baseball diamond behind it and the Legion underneath it. Right. Not like underground, but yeah, in the same building. Yeah. And then there eventually became another little like boutique type of store that has had many different people try to open up a little store in there. Yeah. There was actually, we used to have a little Oyama library. It was part of that.
Wow.
Shit. There was even there's just not. I think that's probably it. The traditional, well, it turned out to be the traditional school when Colton was going there, but it was just the regular elementary school. But when it became traditional, they had to wear uniforms. Yeah. Who the fuck decided on that?
I don't know.
And there was a boat launch.
There's a lot about Canada that confuses me.
Anyway. Yeah, not a lot in there. Never had a gas station. Still don't have a gas station.
Or a screamer machine?
No, they do now.
They had screamers at the OG?
When we went there.
Oh, sweet. We didn't get them there, so I thought they didn't have them there.
No, because we got free coffee and a free hat.
Woo!
Thanks, Corey.
Shout out to Corey.
Sorry that you don't know how the store anymore. Anyways, let's move on because we're talking about Christmas.
Okay. We've got two more foreign traditions to get through. The first of which is Japan's KFC Christmas feast.
This is something I want to do so badly. And not because of KFC, but because actually, and if we were ever to do this, we would have to do it with my brothers because we are all spicy, crispy chicken fans.
Well, ooh, maybe that's what the next Carrier Kid Christmas is going to be.
Yeah, maybe we can do our own. Let's learn something from here. Tell me about it.
All right, let me tell you. So in Japan, only about 1% of the population is Christian. So like Christmas is not a big like traditional long legend or anything.
Okay,
right?
so even though a lot of us folk in the Americas may not be Christian or religious in any way. It's just become a normal holiday thing.
Yeah. And I guess what I'm trying to say is just more like in the Americas, we have a Christmas tradition based off of a religious tradition that majority of a population subscribe to. So our tradition has long historical roots versus in Japan, it's not so much. So like
no one's ever really been Christian.
No.
I guess I'm just trying to understand because when I think about Christmas, I am not religious at all. And so there's a lot of people that celebrate it without being religious at all.
I'm talking through the lens of history though. So like this tradition started in 1974.
This is what I'm just trying to understand about Japan. So even before this particular tradition or whatever starting in 1974, did they do anything before that?
I don't know.
Okay, let's just talk about
That's
this.
what I'm saying. Like, just what I mean is Christmas was not like a big thing. People didn't have a bunch of time off. They didn't celebrate a big thing. Like,
okay.
What we know about Christmas was never a thing. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's just hard to imagine a world where there's literally a country or more. There's several countries that do not celebrate this thing because it's ingrained in our calendar and our lives, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So tell us about it.
So this is what I'm saying. Legend has it that it was in 1974 that there was a manager at a Kentucky Fried Chicken in Japan, who heard an expat, I'm guessing from a country who did celebrate Christmas, where you would maybe make a large turkey dinner for your Christmas. They claim that fried chicken was the next best thing to turkey.
It's probably better. No, it is better. It's
and
better.
I'm assuming from Americas because, again, the turkey, I don't know if you know this either, the turkey is actually one of the only indigenous North American birds.
It's not from here?
No, it is.
No,
like you can't find it in Europe or South America or whatever.
Yeah,
like it's a North
sense.
American bird.
I believe that. Yeah. Why would they be anywhere else?
Like how they have kiwi birds in Australia.
Yeah.
We have turkeys here. And I don't know if you also know, but Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be the American bird instead of the eagle.
For Thanksgiving?
Because it was North American. Like you can't find this bird anywhere else. So it should be the turkey.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I don't know.
People don't like it, but people love it.
Someone else can look into that and make a podcast about it. And so anyhow, because turkeys are not native to Japan, it's hard to find a turkey. So these expats went to KFC because they figured, I guess we'll get some fried chicken because, again, that's the next best thing to turkey. So thereafter, KFC noticed they had a little niche, something they could do. So they started this campaign next Christmas, I guess in 1975, if we want to go by that timeline. Don't quote me on these timelines. They started a campaign called Kentucky for Christmas, and they debuted this special, like, Christmas-themed dinner pack that you had to buy.
I have a question. I think I have a lot of questions you're
had to
not
order in advance.
Gonna be able to answer.
Try them. Try them.
Because my question is like, so that's an awesome ploy for KFC, but wouldn't the Japanese be like, what the fuck is Christmas?
It wasn't for the Japanese. It was for foreigners who celebrated Christmas who live in Japan.
Okay, sorry.
That's who it was targeting because that's who he was listening to. He heard some foreigners who were like, well, we can't find turkey on Christmas, so we're going to go to KFC. And he thought, oh my gosh, look at this. There's a bunch of foreigners here.
Sorry. I just got a little confused.
So that's why they started this Kentucky for Christmas campaign, because if you're a foreigner in Japan for Christmas time and you want a taste of
Christmas
home,
related.
come to KFC. Right?
Hilarious.
Yeah. And so they say at that time it was about 1,000 yen, which I guess is about $10 in 1970s time, which is kind of expensive. And I guess even today, as the menu has gotten crazier and crazier and more elaborate, it's still very expensive. And it sells out like a month or two in advance. Like you have to go in November, maybe even October now. I'm not sure.
That's insane.
The guy I was watching on YouTube who did this, it was like in 2013, he went at the beginning of November to order his like premium special, so like the top tier package.
Do you know what's in that?
It was like everything. It's like you get a whole
Everything
fried
on the
chicken
menu pretty
with
much.
like
You get that macaroni, that
no, it's all Christmas themed.
coleslaw.
Like it's Christmas, so you
Yeah, but
literally
you
like
get
you would get like
macaroni
a
and
pie
cheese.
and a cake and a this, and I don't know, maybe you still get that too.
I'm just wondering what's on the KFC menu.
I'll have to review the video, but and I guess I'll link all my sources below in the description so people can watch stuff and check it out here. But yeah, anyhow, sells out way in advance. And I remember, I think on that episode from 2013, he got kind of like a mid-level package because he wasn't there early enough, right?
That's
he was trying to
crazy.
get the expensive one, but even like mid-level one, it was $70 in 2013 to get that.
Damn.
So I'm not sure what it is now, but I could easily.
That's the middle
I'm like,
in 2013.
yeah, but I'm like, if it costs $200 in 2023 US
Excuse me.
dollars, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, like
That's
it could be
'cause,
pretty expensive.
You just slap Christmas on there, and
But I feel like it's something you'd have to do at least once in your life.
I would.
Or like
I would.
if you're in Japan at Christmas time,
I would.
why not? Anyhow,
This might be our new tradition.
yeah. Anyhow, basically Colonel Sanders is Saint Nicholas in Japan.
That's funny.
And like it became so
He's
popular.
just a modern Santa looking guy.
It became so popular with the Japanese as well. So like from then
Of
it started
course,
out as a
'cause
little thing
things-
for expats.
Because traditions, well, not traditions, but anything that's, yeah.
They've started to love it. And then just as the commercialization of Christmas has gone global, like they start to
Yeah.
embrace that a lot now as well. And there's like sales and deals. Although I hear they don't have a Boxing Day. So it's literally like you wake up on December 26th and like fucking Christmas is gone.
I'm okay with that.
Right?
That's a,
Like no more deals, no more sales, no like
yeah, it's not like here
Back to
where it's
normal.
like, hey, Black Friday is all month.
yeah.
Or Boxing Day week.
So I found that pretty funny. And someone, actually, I think it's the same guy. He's been making these videos for quite a while. He, I think he's an Englishman who has a Japanese wife and they live in Japan. And, well, he teaches Japanese too. So I know he speaks Japanese. And does
I
that.
would hope so.
But anyhow, I watched another video of him like a decade later. So, or sometime close to 2020.
Okay.
And he did sort of like a Christmas follow-up. And he said that the country kind of shuts down from like Christmas to New Year's.
Well,
He's like,
that
literally
sounds
everything
awesome.
is offline. And he's like, but to the point where you can't even go to an ATM and pull out money because like the bank
That's
system
awesome.
is down and like you can't get stuff.
That's
He
awesome.
was warning people. He's like, if you come to Japan at this time, have a shit ton of cash because
yeah.
you can't.
That makes sense.
Do anything.
That's a nice warning, though, for other people.
Totally.
Also. But we should
But
do
also,
that.
how awesome. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
It's so opposite of what we do here. Where
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like things
hey,
get crazier.
you get a day off for Christmas Day, and then you, fuck, and then you get maybe New Year's Day, maybe if you ask for it off. Yeah, New
Just
Year's
call in
is
sick, even though
well.
you're hungover.
I'm just thinking about like. I mean, if you're working in an office or something, they do the day off kind of thing. But
Yeah.
when you're just like a normal employee out there doing whatever, like you're expected to work, which I think is fucking retarded because nobody should be at the mall on New Year's Day.
Right?
Everybody should be sleeping or like catering
We should
over
all
a
have
hangover.
the day off. We should all have many days off.
It's so
in this time.
stupid. Nobody
I
should
agree.
be. The mall should not be open
Yeah.
on Boxing Day or New Year's Day.
Yep. Agreed.
Or Christmas Day, and I'm sure it's probably open Christmas Day for a few hours for all those dumbass people.
You know what's funny
who
is I
got
was at
things.
Long and McQuaid today, and the guy was talking about some Boxing Week sales coming up.
Right,
Again,
right.
can I reiterate that? Boxing Week? Holy fuck,
Right.
it's gone beyond a day now.
I know.
But he turned and he was asking the employee next to him, he's like, what are our hours for the 25th and 26th of this month? You know?
The 25th, they are open.
No, I
Who-
love the other guy. It was funny. He kind of gave him a puzzled look, and then he's like, on the 25th, we have a 0 hours.
Okay.
And I was
good.
like, thank you. Yeah, great. Please close down. I'm
Yeah.
almost appalled that you're open on the 26th too. Like, take 2 days. Come on, guys.
And why is anybody buying anything on the 25th at all? If you don't have
Yeah.
it before, you're not meant to have it and shouldn't be struggling.
Take a day off, guys. We'll all be okay.
It's making me mad now.
I know. We're going to move on from that one.
Good.
There was one little fact that he had thrown in with his second Japanese Christmas episode. And this is something I didn't know, but it ties in with the religious history of Christmas in a way. And that in Shingo Village in Japan, there is a tomb of Jesus Christ.
What's in there?
They believe it's literally Jesus Christ. There is like some big, crazy, elaborate story about how he ended up in Japan.
Like he was moved there?
No, like he came there alive and like died in Japan.
Yeah, because we all have our own Jesus Christs up in our heads.
We're going to have to look out more of this story. But this guy in the video, he goes and he visits the spot. So like, I don't doubt his story entirely. I don't know the intricate details of how Jesus Christ ended up in Shingo Village outside of Japan.
I don't doubt his story. I doubt Jesus Christ.
But he showed down and there was a plaque in Hebrew that marks
that's fucking weird.
the tomb of Jesus Christ in Japan.
So how long has it been there?
I don't know, since the time of his death. I don't know. That's a good question.
We should find out how long
we'll have
he's
to do a
been there
follow-up episode.
Because
or if you want to pay to send us to Japan to find the answer, hit us up, pairofdinks@gmail.com.
Oh my God, we also have a Patreon. That just doesn't make sense to me, but it does at the same point when it's all made up and everybody's like, yeah, this is my Jesus Christ and this is my Jesus Christ and this is my Jesus Christ. And I don't want to offend anybody, but I just don't believe any of that bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, I found that hysterical. I never knew that there was a tomb of Jesus Christ in Japan. I've like similarly,
never heard of that either.
I don't remember what religion most people are, but I've always known it's definitely not Christian. And so I find it surprising that there's such a strong Christian claim in the country.
Yeah, I never even thought about that either because I don't. Well, I mean, we know there's like Buddha and all those other religions that you hear about, but yeah, I've never thought of
there's so many
anything
religions.
Asian.
And then there's so many divisions within those religions.
Yeah, which is totally understandable, and I get it, and everybody is a little bit different. I guess that Christianity is something that I've never gotten on board with. But
I can understand, like, it's hard to imagine that world without, I guess, the like Christian backdrop of
I want to know more actually because it makes me wonder because a lot of rules and regulations and beliefs and stuff is based on religions and now I'm wondering how the Japanese their religion is technology. Their religion is AI, robotic, it's futuristic. That makes sense in my head. I guess I just never thought about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like our younger generations are moving away from religious-based ideals and trying to find this amalgamous mishmash of just things that feel good and right about proper ways to treat each other.
Oh, for sure. As it should be. I mean, I don't want to kick religion, when it's down, but because I do believe we can learn something, something from everything, but to go that extreme with certain religions and just it being like your entire belief system is outrageous to me, but we aren't here to talk about that. Let's talk about let's learn something about Australia's Christmas.
Yes. Let's talk about Australia's Christmas.
All right. Corey?
Yes. What?
Let's talk about Australia's Christmas. First of all, thanks for being here, Corey.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And an honor.
It's exciting. We enjoy having guests, and it's so fun to get to spend time with you again after years of not.
I know, right? I think we've just always I've always just enjoyed just talking to you. Was it always an issue on set whenever we were around each other because the work ethic would plummet
Yeah.
because we just got way too interested in talking to each other and forgot that jobs had to get done. But
Yeah. So I guess a little background for the listeners is that Corey and I met when I was working on Riverdale, and I was working in the props truck, and Corey was on set dressing.
that's right.
Which is-
it's the set decoration department. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you define set dressing role?
Well, like most jobs on set, you at any one time would have 3 to 4 bosses who most of the time don't actually agree with each other, and you got to choose which one to follow through with,
Play your allegiance
which is always a good. Honestly, after a while, I think if you're when you get good at that job, yes, you will check in every now and then with your superiors, but mostly they kind of trust you to be able to fulfill their vision anyway.
Yeah.
So you'll have a good idea of. So to to go back to basics, it's what it is literally everything that isn't a prop that you see in the frame, other than an actor, is set dressing. So, and apart from anything the construction department has built, any walls or doors or any of that kind of thing. But yeah, all the artwork, all the furniture, all the decor. That's all the set deck department. But my specific role was, so they would come in before and after the shooting crew, and set up and pack down. But then I would be the representative of that department on shooting day. So anything that had to get fixed or changed or moved or improved in any way, which was a lot of it too. Not to throw any shade or anything, but so that was my specific role. And it's pretty cool to move an entire dining set and table and chairs by yourself when they're about to roll.
Yeah.
No pressure at all.
And this is why we would get in trouble, because we would be off having our own little conversations and the camera operator would be yelling about something he wanted moved or changed. Mm-hmm. And then you had, what was her name again? Magda?
I had Magda.
Magda helping
Bless her heart.
you, but sometimes she was gone, and props would always come in and help out too. So I know there'd be times when Magna was off, doing something else or checking in on something, and
absolutely, there's
something
never
needed
enough
to be moved. So
never enough hands to go around, and then there's way too many hands to go around. It's like, oh, by the way, we're shooting on location in the forest, where guess what? All the set is the forest, so you can't move a tree. Yeah. So go sit down for 12 hours.
Yeah.
But stand by in case we need you, which we won't. But stand by. But good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
And so and I think this was where I first became aware that Australia has very different Christmas, because we were filming over Christmas time, and the set was getting all festive.
Yes.
And we were talking about Christmas stuff, and I have this awesome video of you in reindeer antlers.
I was going to bring that up. I was absolutely going to bring it up.
This is again why we got in trouble. But yeah, because Australia has a very different weather that time of year.
It's the flip side, right? So it's summer. It's the dead of summer for us. Well, for them, because I've been here since 2014 now. So
you're a Northern Hemisphere.
I very much am. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic, because me, for growing up, is like all the media that we would get was still mostly, from North America, from the States, and my background being, white Anglo-Australian, a lot of our traditions were based in, English traditions too, mm-hmm. right? So my grandparents were very, very British in their leanings, and by extension, my mum especially too, had a real affinity for that type of life. So we had this interesting smash of, grandma is going to make a fruitcake pudding for dessert that, you pour a bit of rum over and you turn the lights off and you set it on fire.
Yeah.
That was like the big, kind of set piece for the day, which is a very English thing to do. But also like in the middle of the day, it's 40 degrees outside and all you want to do is graze on salads and, cold meats and drink very, very, very cold beer and watch cricket for the entire day. That's my tradition. Yeah, I can't speak for everyone in Australia, but that's definitely my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I think it was you who was telling me that a lot of people do like a big beach outing and like extravagant barbecue.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if you're living lucky enough to live on the coast, I suppose, then that's a big thing for sure. Yeah, like a seafood spread is a thing, like a cold seafood thing. But like I said, I haven't even been there since 2014. So, all that stuff kind of felt a little bit like it was kind of changing, I felt like, those, even from when I was a kid to when I was an adult, there was kind of a general, lessening of the intensity of the ideas of what Christmas was supposed to be. You know what I mean? So I think maybe that was just my family, but it didn't feel like that. It felt kind of a bit more society wide. It's just a relaxing of, there's a kitten on my lap. That is excellent news. Of just a bit of a, almost like a backlash against the, that North American iconography and Northern Hemisphere iconography of what Christmas is, for the Santa guy in the very thick, clothing, which is obviously not a thing, but we still had those images, growing up.
But he was like shirtless in some red shorts.
Well, that's exactly right. All of a sudden, people were kind of like, why are we pretending that we're living somewhere that we're not? Like, let's make Australian Christmas a real thing, And I think that was cool and made a lot more sense for. Santa's got shorts now, baby.
And flip flops.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it. He ties his hair back in a man bun.
Yeah, there was.
Smashes a beer and gets out of your house.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the is, because we had that same thing with like all the Christmas carols, but then they started like writing like Australian themed Christmas carols, So it was like Six White Boomers was the one I remember. Do you remember Six White Boomers?
No, it's hilarious. Chantel knew about it.
Hilarious.
Because her brother, I think one of the years, in our schools would we'd have to do like choir.
Yeah.
Songs and stuff, and that was one that her brother's class had to sing one year, so she remembered it, and she actually had a note right here to ask you about it.
I love that has taken over. Like, I was like, I'm so sick of all these Northern Hemisphere imposing their no. It's Australian Christmas now. It's going worldwide. It's going global.
Yeah.
Six white boomers, snow white boomers. Oh
my God, she's gonna be so happy.
I don't remember it. Chantel probably remembers it better than I do.
No, that's literally all she knew was Six White Boomers.
Yeah.
And then I had a good laugh because boomer today has
very different context. Yes.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, like six white. Okay, so a boomer, it would be a kangaroo. I'm not sure where that came from. God, let me think. I mean, it's probably just from the jumping, right? Booming across the ground. I don't really know. But like the Australian men's basketball national team is called the Boomers. That's
awesome.
like their nickname, I suppose. So six white boomers pulling the sleigh instead of the reindeer, because fucking reindeer don't belong here. Get out of here, reindeer.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and I was wondering, like, I had this thought when we were talking about Japan, where like turkey is a North American bird, and it's a thing that a lot of people have at Christmas.
Yeah.
Some people do ham. My family's a ham family because I'm like, well, growing up in the States, right? Our Thanksgiving is that last week of November, and so I'm like, 2 big turkey dinners back to back. No, like, let's change this up.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah,
we got to do something a little different.
Spread it out. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, do you guys even have turkey down there for that? or like, I guess your family being, I guess, big on the English tradition.
Yeah.
Would you?
So we did. And this is a thing, like from when I was younger to when I was getting older, became less of a thing, I think, is that we would always go up to my grandparents' place in just outside of Sydney, which was like a 10-hour drive for us from where we were living in further south and towards Melbourne. Hello, sweetheart. So we'd go up there, every Christmas, which would also coincide with the end of the school year. So like our big break for the year is at the end of the year, as opposed to like summer in North. You know what I mean? So we didn't have like a spring break thing.
Yeah, because we're out in like June, and then. Sorry, honey might have breathed in the mic if you heard something.
My goodness, what was I trying to say?
Well, we were talking about the school breaks. So like that would be the end of your grade, so to say? Like,
yeah, exactly. So
okay.
yeah, exactly. So, so we would, our big holiday for the year was driving up to Grandma and Pa's. So we'd be up there and we'd spend a few weeks at least with them. And then you do, New Year's as well. And but so our big meal on Christmas Day though was, I want to say ham mostly, but like, and it was just like mom and grandma just spending all day in like stinking hot kitchen. You know what I mean? Like with the oven going all day. Like what are we doing this for?
I can't imagine.
Yeah, totally. So it gradually went away from that, and I think it kind of became more of a lunch thing. And it was just like it's all there, graze, grab whatever. And my grandparents were like, they had this fairly small house, but it was just, they were very much a focal point for their community. So they just have a bunch of people come around, like drop by.
Oh, cool.
It was a real tradition for them to have, it seemed like 50 people in their tiny little living room, which was really cool. So, that's, and then as they got older and their community sort of got smaller and smaller and all that kind of stuff. And we got older, like the kids got older and, could sort of start doing a few more things on our own. It was me and my cousin, Ben would be playing, across the road on the oval, just like playing cricket, just two people playing cricket, which is really hard to do, by the way. But we would do that. Yeah. It didn't matter what, it was like 47. I remember one year it was 47 degrees.
Holy shit.
And mum was like, what are you doing? Like, this is the only time a year I get to play cricket with Ben. So I got to go do that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the weather is. We're going to do it. We had a game of cricket that was years long. Like we never finished it. It was always like he'd bowl and I'd bat, then we'd swap. And we just kept track of our scores all the time and just kept going for years. It was never over. So there's never a winner or loser. Which is the way to do it, because he was a way better cricket player than I was. But he never won.
That's those 2-man rules. Mm-hmm. They're different. Yeah.
That's right.
You're like, you might be good in a, league. Sorry, I don't know cricket terms, but like I've watched it a couple of times.
That's a whole other podcast. It's me trying to explain cricket to
I'm like, no, we'll save that for a different one.
Yeah,
we'll do like a cricket episode. But
even if I'm not drunk and trying to explain cricket to you, it's going to sound like I'm drunk because it's a ridiculous thing to try and explain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like if people can understand North American football, like, then you can understand most sports.
Fair enough.
That one is unnecessarily complicated.
It sure is.
And then you just have a random guy in there who's like, nah, you didn't make it far enough.
Yeah. Like says who?
Like,
you do it then. Umpire.
Yeah, exactly. All those fucking guys. I guess growing up, so did you guys still get presents from Santa and stuff growing up?
Yeah. Still very Santa focused. If again, not speaking for everyone in Australia, it's a hugely multicultural country.
Yeah.
But from our turbo whiteness, it was still a Santa themed holiday for sure. It'd be like you'd get a gift from Santa, but you'd also get a gift from mum and dad. And most of the time, the gift from mum and dad was a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to, I don't know, just to make the point. Like Santa's all well and good, but we're the ones who got you the fucking bike. You know what I mean?
That's funny. As I think it was kind of backwards in my family.
Oh yeah.
Well, especially after, like, well, we could talk about that part in a minute, but like after, you know, it was kind of the charade was revealed. It's like, there's not like really a Santa.
There's no Santa.
But if we ever wanted something like big for Christmas, like I remember one year when the Razor scooters were super popular, and we were dying for one. I don't know if this was before, but it was like, well, you know, if you're good, Santa might bring you one. Like
Totally.
That was always like the big thing from air quotes Santa in our house.
How old were you when the big reveal happened?
Yeah.
Do you remember the moment?
Yeah, there are a couple. I apologize for anyone. They might hear this again later because Chantel and I talked about it too. There was 2 moments. One was when I asked for something ridiculous. It was like a fucking attack helicopter. Like literally, like I'm like, I want military equipment.
Yeah, I need some mortar shells.
And it didn't arrive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then yeah, it was hilarious.
Jake,
and then
I love you, buddy.
There was a time so my dad was in the army and in the reserves, and he got activated for some time when there was some conflict in the Middle East. So he was living back in Virginia for a while, but we went to see him for Christmas time.
Right.
And he was staying in like a coworker's basement suite.
Right.
So it was like not a place for a family to be gathering for Christmas. So my brother and I are like sleeping out on the floor in the living room space. The tree is in like the other corner, and I kind of rouse in the middle of the night, and I see my parents like stuffing boxes of shit under the tree.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, and I'm like, how those fucking kids at school are right. Like,
yeah,
it's not real.
Devastating.
So it was kind of like a two-tiered thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, what a scam.
Nothing means anything anymore.
Exactly. What about you? What was the time?
I'm Jake the nihilist now. I'm 8 and mate.
It's all a lie.
Yeah. I don't think I had like, and part of me kind of wishes that I did have a moment to point to, because I think can be kind of an interesting thing to be able to reflect on. But I think for me it happened slowly, and I think in my brain it flipped from them trying to protect me to me trying to protect my parents from thinking that you know what I mean? That the magic had gone.
Yeah.
I was like,
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm now pretending to believe in this for them more than myself. You know what I mean? So I think I do remember mum at some point, like I was probably way too old, you know, but it was like, we'd never had the conversation, right? So it's like, okay, so like, you know, it's not real. It's like, oh yeah, no. It's, yeah, I know. It's okay. And then we like moved on and we just started talking about something else immediately. It's like, this is too painful.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, we're good. It's fine. Thanks for checking. No, I am not 12 years old and still believing. You know what I mean? It's just okay.
And then she's feeling relieved because she's like, oh, good, he figured it out. He's not like wrong in the head.
I think it was a similar thing with like stuffed toys, like plushies and stuff as well. It was like mine were all real for a while.
Yeah.
And then they weren't real anymore.
No.
But
they should be.
But for all intents and purposes,
I've still got my
I had to keep up the ruse for a while.
Exactly.
For who?
I still on a recent visit to my parents, my mom pulled out my first little stuffed animal, this little rabbit named Hannah that a coworker of hers like sewed. Like it's like
adorable.
And she had like kept it all these years. And she was finally like, I think you should hold on to this. And I was like, you're damn right.
Yeah. Yes. It's mine. It's my property.
Give me that, Hannah.
Mother.
It was awesome. I think I strapped her into like the passenger seat of the car too to drive all the way back home, going through the border. Like, is it just you? I'm like, no, me and Hannah.
Yeah.
Where's her passport?
Do you want to see her papers?
We don't have them. But I swear she's got her shots.
Like an ICE is after you. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That's too funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there any like particular Christmas that was memorable, or where I don't know, maybe
The bike Christmas was a good one for sure.
Which one was
The
it?
bike Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good gift.
Yeah, it really was.
What kind of bike did you get?
It was a mountain bike. And up until that point, I'd only had like, hand me down, like, kind of fixies, kind of BMX type things, but that was like not at all a pleasure to ride. So yeah, I was probably, oh God, I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say like 11 or 12 or something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But it was a brand new, like multi-speed, mountain bike. It's like, okay, this is like a real bike. Like I can do stuff with it. I can go places with this thing. You know what I mean? And it was a bit of a ticket to ride, as the Beatles once said. And all of a sudden it was a different time, right? Like you'd go out riding and went around the time it starts to get dark, or not, or later, small town Australia, you come back and whatever, it's all good.
Yeah.
And no one ever really worried, So
were you in
just,
like a neighborhood where you lived, or?
Yeah. So we had like a little forested area at the end of our street, which is beautiful. And a river that went through it. But just like, to me, it seemed like the biggest, like most magical, like unending place you could possibly think of. Like I felt like we never kind of reached the ends of it. Like, of course we did, I'm sure, at times, but like in my mind, it was this never ending kind of thing with just bike trails all the way through it. And some kids had built jumps and stuff. So that was a new thing as well. And like, yeah, all of a sudden it was this, we could kind of just do it all. Just me and my brother just go and spend hours and hours and hours just exploring, not doing anything in particular, just figuring it all, just checking and just mapping it out, it was really cool. So that was a huge one. Whereas the bikes that we had before were just not necessarily conducive to that much time spent on them. Yeah. That was a big one for me.
That's awesome. I remember my brother had this crappy little blue bike for the longest time.
Yeah.
And like we were on a private drive that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it was just like fields around us. We didn't have like cool forest to explore and stuff. But we would build these shady...
So let me get the terminology correct. It's bush.
Yeah.
It was bush in Australia.
And in Canada.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where my US upbringing comes out.
Yeah.
And we would build these shady ramps out of like spare plywood and other 2x4s that we would nail together and hope that the nails didn't poke out in the wrong ways. But my brother had this habit of he would try to go as fast as possible to jump as high as he could. But then he would always want to skid and slam on the brakes and like screech the tire afterwards.
So fun.
So yeah, he would like blaze through a tire a week.
Yeah.
Just like boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Skids were the coolest thing you could possibly do. Yeah. Those were the most important thing as an 8-year-old for sure.
Yeah. So my parents were like, you get to keep a crappy bike for a while.
Like, that's fair.
And I think at one point he had like miscolored tires because like, the red ones were on sale for $1.99 or whatever. And they're like, you get this, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we got the repair patches, repair kits.
Well, these were shredded.
Yeah.
Like, they were just, but it was done. New tire time. No, maybe even a new tube.
Yeah,
like,
love it. No, we were like, we had to figure out, they're our bikes now. We got to take care of them and all that kind of stuff. And what that really meant was that I would say, okay, Tom, my big brother, you can do this because you know how to do this, and I will be somewhere else doing something else.
Yeah.
If you can fix that for me, we can go riding later. Thank you very much. I will see you in a bit.
And would he do it?
Oh yeah,
helped you out. Nice.
Yeah. He was way too nice to me. He should have told me to go fuck myself. Frankly, yeah.
Well,
he enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed the work.
Yeah.
Because I was like, can I rides it yet?
Yeah. Builds character.
Yeah,
that's what they say, right? Awesome. Well, is there anything else about Christmas time that messed up? I mean,
Thing that
I'm
comes
sure
to
you'll be
mind.
back to talk about more just life in the
please.
future.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, just listening back to one of your episodes I was listening to today, I was like, I just want to talk to these people about all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come on anytime.
Anytime would be great for me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for filling us in on some Australian Christmas traditions.
Yeah. I wish I had a better memory. Always, a better spokesperson for what current modern day Australia is, because I don't really know what that is.
Yeah, that's all good. Although, I had one question about that. Did people in Australia ever like roll out fake snow and light their house and stuff? Like,
absolutely, there are people.
Really?
Yes, like
Wow.
not many people, and people like they're like those people. You know what I mean? Like, take it easy, Trevor. You know what I mean? Like, they're
Sounds
like way
specific.
too much Christmas lights up. Like, this is their entire year is built up to this point, right? Like,
yeah.
like just cool it on the like fake snow. Yeah. Do you know where you are?
Yeah, I know. I was outside my apartment in Langley one time. One of the Hallmark movies was filming in July
God.
like just after pandemic or something.
This could be another podcast too. Just Hallmark movies.
But
dude.
I remember it was hilarious because it was the middle of summer and they're rolling out all the fake snow. You know, and the night
those
before,
effects departments are unbelievably good.
Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, and then the next day I come outside and I'm like, when the fuck did it snow?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just imagining in Australia, like you said, 40, 50 degrees out.
Maybe I should say this for another podcast, but I do remember that there was like some poor background extra was like, in this giant coat between takes or something. And we know we're shooting because it's got to be out by Christmas, right? So they're shooting it. And their turnaround time on those Hallmark movies is fast. So like they're shooting mid-year, to make sure that it's that. So they're shooting in summertime. This poor guy just full on collapsed.
Yeah.
Like this is a Hallmark movie, bro. It's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not your ticket.
Take it off.
Take the jacket
Just
off.
get a puffy vest and survive.
Yeah.
That's brutal. All right, Corey. Well, we'll have you back to talk about life and movies.
Please do.
And other
See that
things
you
and-
do, sir.
Yes. Awesome. All right, back to you, Jake and Chantel.
Well, it sounds like we need to go traveling to different places for Christmas and experience all these really cool things. Maybe not everywhere, but like Australia would be awesome.
But you don't want to go to Austria and get like run down by a Krampus?
Well, no, I would love to. I want to be a Krampus. Can I just do that here right now and kick kids?
Let's do it. Yeah.
You know what's nice actually
Just go
about
running
right
down
now?
17th Avenue, just kicking people and cowbells.
Yeah, I think the funny thing right now though, also like around Christmas is, and maybe I'm blind. Maybe I have like blinders on or something, but I kind of don't see kids out, like out and shopping, And you see parents scrambling out and shopping, and then sometimes they have kids in tow. But
it's like the whole family, though. It's like
sometimes, yes.
kids, parents, grandparents.
I guess the thing is like, yeah, you're right. I'm blind.
No, but I know what you mean.
I'm surprised though.
The only time I noticed them is when remember when we went to the mall on the weekend and there was the big
Well,
lineup?
which weekend? Because I was just gonna say we have gone out the past few weekends for ourselves.
Yeah, but last weekend it was because we had to switch our cell phone service. So it was like
True.
an obligation. We need to go do this so we can talk to people and so you can have Google Maps and get around.
And then?
Anyhow, there was that huge lineup and crowd of people for their photos with Santa. And I was going to say that's like one of the only times I notice kids during the holiday season is when I go by those like Santa photo ops or they're like, I don't think I've seen them in Calgary, but I remember in Langley they had it as well. And then growing up, we had like these little train rides and stuff.
Yeah.
Or we would go on an actual steam train. Remember we had a Santa
they've
train?
cheapened things out
Yeah.
because none of that's affordable and you can't give it out for free anymore.
Did you ever have a Santa train?
I think so. But a long time.
This was something
ago.
I only remember it because I scanned some photos like I was scanning some film from my childhood.
I just remember.
And they had these photos from the Santa train, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot that we went and did that. And it was literally a steam train that went on like a short rail track. And Santa Claus was on the steam train.
A steam train.
Ours was.
I'm pretty sure there was a little train of some kind. If I'm wrong with that, and I may have like maybe picked it up from something else, there was always a long line in the middle of Santa Village. So you weren't just looking at the person in front of you. You had things to see as you were waiting in line. But also, I really did not like going to Santa.
Yeah.
It's creepy. He's creepy. And especially knowing that he literally, like later on, when you figure out that is not the same person as last year.
I was going to mention this in a way.
Makes it so much more disgusting.
Because on the Santa train, this was when I first became aware that the Santa hijinks might be a hoax.
Hijinks?
Yeah. This whole legend and lore and like...
You mean Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the Santa version.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not the KFC version.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's for real.
That is.
It started in 1975.
That's true, though. That is a for real thing that happened and was implemented. So I get it.
Yeah. You see what I mean?
But Santa was like a shoulder shrug.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. You never see him. You write him letters. He never writes you back. I asked him for ridiculous shit. And he never actually
He
fucking brings
writes
it.
kids back.
He never wrote me back.
Well, you didn't send it to the North Pole because we used to send.
I wrote the North Pole.
We literally had a North Postal Code.
Yes, that's right. Because also, fun Canadian Christmas fact to end this episode out with. Canada claims that the North Pole is in Canada, and therefore Santa Claus is actually a Canadian.
Where did you learn that?
Google it.
I didn't know.
Check it out.
I didn't know that. But what I know is whenever we would we would do this through school. So we literally had Santa Claus's address and he would write us back. And that actually has escalated now. Santa does write people. What the is that?
Okay, this is, according to CBC Kids from an article in November 2022. Did you know that Santa Claus is a legal Canadian citizen? He sure is.
He's an everybody citizen. He's a world citizen.
Here are just a few pieces of evidence that old Saint Nick operates out of the old true north, strong and free.
I wonder how many other countries have done and taken this exact template.
I know. But anyways, let's go through them really quick. According to cbc.ca/kids, Canada has claimed the North Pole. The North Pole is an interesting place. Right now, it's not officially part of any country. However, a number of countries have tried to claim parts of it for themselves. These include Norway, Russia, Denmark, and yes, Canada. They made their official claim in 2019.
Stupid.
The closest year-round human settlement to the North Pole is located in Canada. The settlement of Alert, Nunavut is about 820 kilometers from the North Pole. So Santa's closest neighbors are Canadian.
Okay.
He has a Canadian address. See?
HOH? OHO.
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's where we send it.
Okay. See? He's got his own, what do we call it? It's a postal code here in Canada. Zip code is what we call them in the United States, except they only have numbers in the U.S. In Canada, they have numbers and letters. I think they're both 6 digits.
I have no idea.
Remember.
This is 6 digits.
Yep. Santa was declared a full Canadian citizen in 2008 by Canada's immigration minister. Since then, the government has said over and over that it considers Santa to be a Canadian citizen. This is what our government gets up to.
Holy shit.
He has a Canadian passport as well. I'm
Oh
sure
my
that's
god,
what
no.
they issued him.
Santa needs passports at all?
Oh my god. So they declared him a citizen in 2008, and in 2013 he was issued a passport.
Which one of these Santas got a passport?
Well, let's see. Santa and his wife. So what's his wife's name again? Sorry.
Mrs. Claus.
Didn't she have a first name?
Mrs.
Okay.
She doesn't have a name. Wait,
Anyway.
unless you watch Santa is Coming to Town, the stop motion, and then I don't remember her name. It's like Rebecca or something dumbass. But it's mostly Mrs.
Okay.
Mrs.
Well,
Mrs.
Mr. and Mrs. Claus have Canadian passports, and they got the what is this? 2,999,999th passport and the 3 millionth. So they are specially numbered.
I know what's wrong with this. These.
And yeah, even though he has a passport, apparently he doesn't need it because
It's
he's
because
got
we're on
fucking
the
reindeer.
we are on the kids site.
I know.
Anything is believable when
Anyhow,
you're kids.
I'm glad.
Was he just holding a poutine?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm glad I could introduce you to something Canadian.
That is the dumbest shit I ever seen. Santa Claus is a nomad. He's a transient. He is homeless. He goes
Experiencing
everywhere. Oh, fuck off. He is everybody's person. He cannot just be Canadian. That is the thing that's cool about Santa, though. Stop claiming things like that.
It's so funny.
Santa is everybody's guy. Okay? Hi, honey.
Oh, so true.
Wanna come up here?
On that note, though,
Oh, I did want to say one more
Yes,
thing, but do
you
you
go.
have one more thing to say?
No. You go first.
I was just going to talk about the winter and how growing up in the Okanagan, we had like minus 30 winters, a lot of snow. And before my dad leveled out our backyard, it was a slope. And so we used to, GT.
What's a GT?
It was just a slip slidey thingy.
But it had
It's
like
called
a steering
GT.
wheel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a steering
Because you were
wheel.
doing these hand motions.
Yeah,
so
a
I'm like,
sled.
you
It was
could
like a
drive it,
sled,
sorta? Okay.
like a plastic sled. You could sit on it. You could just turn it left and right, so you can direction it. It wasn't just a plain sled. You could go down. I remember calling it a GT or something.
Okay.
But we would like slide down the backyard.
That's awesome.
That
I
was
wish we had
also
that
really
in our
fun.
yard.
I just I've always hated being I like being claustrophobic in a space I'm in. So like a lot of the walls covered and stuff, but I don't like being smothered in things touching my body. So being in a snowsuit, snow coat, and snow boots, and a toque, and fucking gloves, and all, I still hate that. I hate that even more now, probably because I sweat, and when my body is wet, and my clothes are sticking to me, and it's fucking cold out. You've witnessed this once at least.
Yeah. Because
I'm
I was
miserable.
walking
I hate it so much.
I was walking in like a shirt and you had everything.
It sucks. Anyways, sledding's fun. And I do not snowboard or ski. I hate the snow, but I have no problem crazy carpeting. I like going down in tubes. I like adventure like that, but no, I don't want to just go walk in the fucking snow and have a winter wonderland.
We're so different in that sense.
I know.
I think that's what I loved about Christmas time because my dad would always have time off work growing up. And since the time my dad could drive, he was driving himself up to the mountains in the winter and skiing with friends or bumming rides up there, whatever it took. Him and his crazy ass friends would drive from Seattle up to Whistler, which is like a 5-6 hour drive, maybe more. Yeah. Especially if there's snowy, crappy weather. And he would drive in he had a Datsun 240Z, which is like a little rear wheel drive sports car. Not a fucking mountain worthy vehicle, but they would drive that up in storms from Seattle to Whistler. to go fucking skiing because they were that hardcore.
Yeah, no, I
So like, that's where I came from.
Yeah.
From the moment I could walk or talk, my dad was like, "Here's skis, learn them. Here's how you do them."
yeah, that's cool. I mean, like, that's cool. I still don't think if my family put me in that I'd be that kind of person. But we, as a family, didn't do that stuff. I also hate skating. I can't stand on skates
No.
on ice. I remember going to skate nights at school and being stuck on the other side and literally crawling across the rink to get back out.
Oh my.
I do not do winter sports. Our family just didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly just don't think that would be something that I'd be into anyway.
No.
I like it when it's hot.
Same.
Although I won't lie, I'm very surprised. I shouldn't be that surprised. I lived in the Okanagan for so long, but like moving to Calgary from the lower mainland and adjusting to the weather here, winter weather.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know what to tell you actually about the weather here. Last year was horrific. This year is nothing
Yeah.
in comparison to last year, or even like I can't compare it to an Okanagan winter. I can't compare it to anything. It's just like, it's so good. It's so nice. I like it.
I think the distinction is there's like 4 distinct seasons here.
Yeah, we get to see everything.
Yeah. And I think
I
that's
like
what
that
reminds
too.
me of childhood, where it was like there was like winter was snowy always. You know, I feel like
Absolutely.
there's a lot of Vancouver winters I've gone through in the past, at least the past 10 years. So from 2023 now to like 2013, where I'm like, we never had snow ever on like in the,
Well, we did.
in like the area. Or sure, it would, but it like wouldn't
was-
stick.
Well,
It would, like,
sometimes.
No, but I mean, there were some years where I'm like, it would like never
You're
stick.
you're talking about the same years that I was active
Yeah.
down there, and the only reason why I remember that is because like I couldn't get up the hill with
Yeah.
my car. So there were, but it would be because it was slushy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was wet
but
all
it
the
wouldn't,
time.
even if it snowed, it wouldn't like pile up to the point where you
It
had to
wouldn't
like scoop
pile
a
up.
driveway out or like
No,
clear
because it
your
would melt
door.
those
Yeah.
those areas. But
And
then
that's more my point, because
Okay.
growing up, I felt like we had winters when I was growing up where it would frequently snow a lot and it would pile up and you would have to shovel your way out of the door and you'd go play in the yard, and it felt like it was, you know, snow dunes taller than you because you're only a 3-foot tall human. So of course it looks incredible. But yeah, I felt like I had snowy winters growing up, and they've just shifted. And for most of the time I lived in Vancouver, like you said, it was just slush. Like
Well,
it wasn't
now that I-
snowy in
Well,
that same sense.
So now that I remember, like, so I shared a dog with my ex, and like I was home all the time, so it was always me and the dog. And there would be, this is the only time you would catch me outside longer than 2 hours in the snow. I would gear up because this dog needed all the energy, like run out doing something. So we would go outside, and I remember spending one day when there was a lot of snow that actually did stick, and I was like I made a dog snowman. I'm actually really impressed. I made a dog snowman. I made Olaf snowman.
Nice.
I just made snow people in the yard because that's what was going to get the dog, because we would go out and we would play frisbee.
Yeah.
And so to keep myself entertained, I would also make snow things. I do like doing that.
Yeah.
I just don't have snow gear. Like I need snow pants, the ones that come. I used to absolutely hate having to put this bullshit on to go to school, to take it off, to take it off and put it back on
Yeah.
and then take it off and put it back on again and again. Fuck that bullshit. And then also where it would scrunch at the bottom so you could tuck your boots in.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I hated all that stuff. Hated it so much. I also didn't like covering whatever I was wearing.
Yeah. I agree.
But now.
But that's why I liked it at the mountains, because we were never like trying to dress anway.
Yeah,
Everyone
but now
looked like degenerates.
I want overall snow pants.
Yeah. See.
This is what I'm getting at now.
Yeah.
Like, I want overall snow pants. I want them to clip in like little children's. I want snowshoes, boots.
Yeah.
I want a snow coat. A snow coat. I want all the stuff so I could go just like crazy carpet.
I want a strawberry snow coat.
Snow dogs and all that.
Yeah.
But all
I
I'm
agree.
saying is that this
awesome.
year we didn't even have to put snow tires on, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
So I can't tell you anything about Calgary weather.
Hey, that's year 2 of Calgary weather, or winter 2. We'll call it winter 2.
Yeah.
A random thought. The number of people I've met who have moved here from other places, when I ask them how long they've been in Calgary, they always seem to go by winters as well. So it makes me feel good when we're like, this is our second winter in Calgary.
Well, when I think about that and when I've been talking to clients and stuff, I'm like, this is my second winter. And you know what? Last year, shit, like, wow. Because I just can't believe how good it is.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. I just cannot believe how awesome this winter is.
It's insane.
And we bought a whole new car for it.
It's okay. It'll be useful next winter.
It already is useful.
I had one last thought I wanted to wrap up with, mostly because I had a year where I made a ridiculous request of Santa Claus. And this was when...
Do you know how old you were?
Oh, I want to say I was in grade 1 or 2. So I was pretty young. But I remember this. I asked Santa Claus for an Apache attack helicopter.
Apache
Yeah.
attack helicopter. From
Yeah.
what? What is that from?
Okay. Oh, wait. So this must have been around 99 or 2000 because Godzilla had come out with Jean Reno and Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, so...
And there was Apache attack helicopters that they sent into Manhattan to take down Godzilla. And I thought they were the coolest fucking thing. And I wanted a helicopter. And people told me all the time that, like, if you're good and you ask Santa for what you want, he'll bring it to you. And I was like, I want one of these.
Nobody said within reason. Or maybe that's when they're like, I wasn't 100% good enough.
But I didn't know it meant within my parents' budget.
Oh my God. Of course not.
And that began to put some doubt in my mind because I asked him for this helicopter and it does not arrive. I think my brother asked him for some kind of ridiculous like jet airplane or something. We both asked him for like $1 billion military equipment.
Did you get a little model instead?
Maybe.
Because that would have been awesome.
We might have. I remember we got some kind of a like
Then you would have been
F-14
like,
Tomcat
oh my
toy.
God, this is not what I meant. But it's exactly what I asked for.
I don't remember if we got the helicopter, but I do remember we got a little, it was an F-14 Tomcat, which is a type of jet fighter.
Cool.
And we got some kind of like remote toy F-14 Tomcat one year. I don't know if it was the same year, but that would be brilliant on my parents' behalf if it was. And I just wanted to follow that up with, on that Santa Claus train, for the first many years we went there, there was the same guy who played Santa Claus all the time. That's the only Santa Claus we ever went to see.
That's nice. You know why? Because you can establish a good relationship with somebody that you recognize.
And he had like he had a natural beard. So it was kind of like yellowed and stained in places, as your natural white beard would be as an older man who is doing as he pleases.
Eats food and...
And But then I remember there was one year once we got older, suddenly there's this guy with this fucking like bleached white beard. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
You actually,
And I mean, I didn't say it that
but
way.
you were thinking about
But
it.
that was literally it. But I remember asking my mom, it must have been my mom. One of my parents. I asked my parents about it because I said, Santa's beard's yellow. This is not the same Santa. And like, so I don't know. It's hilarious, I think, looking back at it now, because I see how early on I was spotting these weird inconsistencies.
Well, I was
in
going
this
to
truth.
ask, do you remember when you found out he wasn't real?
I mean, I think that's the first time the idea was introduced to me, because I noticed his beard was different. And I was like, this is not the same man. He talks different. His beard's different. Everything's different. Like, I can't tell you exactly what it was, but if I was to pick something that I specifically remember, it's the beard. You know, where I'm like, the other Santa had a yellow, natural beard. Probably of someone who smokes a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Exactly.
And then the other guy has this like perfectly pearly white printer paper colored beard. And I'm like, you're different. And then I guess the moment I actually knew it, sometime around, this would have been Christmas of 2001. Because we went to
were 10
Virginia.
then.
Yeah. We went to Virginia, and my dad was living in Virginia, and we came out to visit, and he was living in a friend's basement suite, which was like not built to accommodate a family. So my
Yeah.
brother and I were sleeping in the like quote living room area, and the tree was in the quote living room area. And I remember waking up sometime in the middle of the night and hearing some rustling around, look over, and I see my parents like stuffing shit under the trees. And I was like, oh my God, all the shit that the kids say at school is true. Like, it is your parents. Fuck, no.
You know what? Like, that's a great story. I cannot tell you how, when, who said, no idea. So if mom knows, because mom knows everything,
There you go.
can you tell me like when I figured out that Santa doesn't exist? Obviously, it did not scar me in any kind of way. Never
Yeah.
cared.
Same for me. I think actually Christmas got a lot,
Easier.
yeah, so much simpler and easier. Like, so I remember once, like throughout high school and a lot of those times, it became more about, my parents would kind of set a budget and say, what is like a gift you want for Christmas within this amount? Or if there was something special that we wanted earlier, they would say, well, can you wait till Christmas? Like, we'll buy it now and then you get it. Or, you know, like,
This reminds me, actually, I think what was helpful, did you have this? It was like the Sears Christmas. I don't know if there was a Sears in, but not just
it wasn't
Sears,
as popular in my day.
but
like,
there were
but-
those catalogs. This
Yeah.
was actually probably one of my favorite things. We would get the catalogs, and they were thick and thin papered.
Yeah.
And you would just flip and circle and initial, flip, circle, initial, like for days. It was thick and thin. And that was fun. And I think that kind of made up for any real, actually, for the most part, like we got what we asked for. But if there was anything outrageous, too big or whatever, and I can't even tell you
Yeah.
an idea of what I'm saying, there would always be like a backup, and I don't think there would be ever any questioning about it either. Well, I think we were always very grateful.
Yeah. No, I'm the same thing. I guess I want to
Besides
piggyback
the
off
jets.
of that sentiment. Yeah. Where I'm like, even with those jets and helicopters, we didn't care. You know,
Well,
like,
when you're
we were
like,
always
real
grateful for what we
kids.
got. And we did get a lot of, like I said, within our stockings and even the other gifts that were marked as from my parents, you know, not the like quote Santa gifts. Like, we did get a lot of awesome and
I
amazing
think-
things. And later we would, once we could have that conversation around, hey, for Christmas, we would like this expensive game console. My parents were like, okay, like we can
It's going
find
to be a
that.
combination and you have to help for it.
Or like sometimes we would have to sacrifice something else through the year. Or I don't remember if we ever chipped in our own money, but maybe we did, where it was like, okay, what if Santa pays for half of that?
Do you know what
and
Mom
you
used to
guys
do?
the rest or something?
Yeah.
Like, we got
Totally.
it just became a lot more fun in that sense, and we could get more of what we wanted instead of playing this game of like asking for the most outrageous shit and
gets
feeling
harder as you
disappointed
get
by something.
older, yeah.
Yeah, it was so much better, and because like I said at the start of my rant, I never cared too much about the gifts. It was always to me like I love the food, I loved the
feeling,
times
the
together.
Traditions. Yes, the fun together.
It's like, so as the gifts became less important, I actually really appreciated that my parents were like, yeah, fuck the Santa charade. Like, what do you want? Here's what we can realistically do. Like, do you want to kick in or something? Like we can match you on a dollar amount or something. Like it felt so much more reasonable and cool.
So it got to a point as we got older, of course, where Mom and I would go shopping together and we would find things that I want. And she would give me the option of, if you want it now, you're getting a wrapped empty box at Christmas.
I love it.
I took her up on that offer a few times. Of course, I want to play that fucking game now. I want to sing Disney
awesome.
karaoke now.
Oh, that's the one.
It was, yeah. I gave that to Megan. Now I don't have that because I don't have a Wii. But damn
Oh,
it.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's an awesome idea too. Yeah.
I've
same
also
thing.
gone through closets looking for things. I found exactly what I wanted one year.
Yeah.
I think it was like 15 or something. I wanted that T-shirt of Elmo that said "Tickle Me." It was one of those shirts that would have been like fucking $40 because it said it's Elmo.
Yeah.
Dumbass shit. Anyways,
That's fun.
well,
Awesome.
I think we're done.
We totally are.
Yeah. We could go on forever, but if anybody wants to share any fun stories, Mom, please. I know I'm going to hear from you because I would like to know where I fucked up. And if you could just add a little bit more, maybe we just need you to come on like every time we talk because you can just tell me exactly what happened.
Should do a chaotic family Christmas episode one
Can't
time.
do everybody together. It's not going to
No, we can't do them all together, but I mean, we'll just do like
well,
flip
it would
flop
be
family
my
or
mom.
other people. And anyhow,
And then
also
your
big
mom
thank
and
you to
dad.
Corey for coming on today. Really appreciated you sharing about Australia's Christmas traditions. And yeah, that's amazing. Glad to just, I don't know, it's so fun to be reconnected with you.
Yeah, it's also nice to understand other people's traditions, especially when the literal weather and everything is different at that time of year, you know?
Yeah. Like it's summer when it's our winter.
Yeah, so how do you celebrate Christmas? Well, I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks Corey for coming to explain that. We wish you all a happy holiday season, Christmas season, Hanukkah season, Kwanzaa season, non-denominational season, spiritual season, whatever the fuck it is you celebrate. We hope
Or
that you're
not.
just...
If you don't do anything, hey, actually, we're in the same boat. We like to eat.
Yeah. However you like to celebrate this time, we hope that you're enjoying it. We hope that you're taking time to just rest, recover, appreciate your accomplishments, celebrate your community, and enjoy this moment in life because it's all we have. Thank you. Goodbye.